Hi guys, we're starting a new chapter. Hopefully you have this printed or in your possession. We're moving on to circles. So let's go over some of these things in this top cover. So here, these two are defined circumference. Circumference. This I'm going to change. This is, put it over here, length of arc. That's this one. And I'm going to change it because I don't like that version. I prefer this version. Your degree divided by 360. Let's put or because it almost looks like a negative. Or. Times 2 pi r. Okay. Length of an arch, which makes sense because the length of an arc is part of the circumference. So 2 pi r makes sense. This one is area of a circle. This one is the area of a bisector. I just lied to you. It's sector. That one, again, I don't like this one so much. I prefer the degrees divided by 360 times, since it's area, it's pi r squared. Okay. And this last one is actually the equation of a circle in standard form. All right, there you go. All right, so definitely need calculators, big time here. Lots of things we know and a lot of things we don't. Okay, so this first one is just the vocabulary of a circle. So the locus of all points in a plane equidistant from a given point called the center of the circle. And when they're talking about a circle, this is how they call it, circle P. P is the center of the circle. The radius. Hopefully you guys know that the radius is from the center outwards. A chord, this is not through the center. So a chord is just going from one side to the other, but not going through the center. The diameter goes all the way across, going through the center. This, actually I'm going to go back here. This is my D, this whole thing. All right. So the radius and diameter relationship. So make sure you know how to find the radius given the diameter, or find the diameter if you don't know the radius. So here's those equations. So my radius is here. So what is the diameter? The diameter would go all the way across. So that would just be 2 times 8 or 16. So that would be 8. This would be 8. This whole thing would be 16. Just a little refresher. All right. Circle pairs. So it's just talking about congruency. If they're congruent, if they have a congruent radii, all circles are similar, and concentric circles are in the same plane. Circumference, I prefer 2 pi r. Having 2 of them is confusing. This is the one they use most. This is called circumscribed, so a circle Circumscribed, a circle is circumscribed about a polygon, so it if the circle contains all the vertices of the polygon, so all the vertices. Okay, we'll learn more about that. Inscribed is inside, circle inside, and it touches the sides. Okay, again, we'll work more with that later. Here, name the circle and identify its radiuses. So my circle is E. My radius, I have E to D, and I have E to B. The other one is a chord, and B to D would be your diameter. Okay. Moving quickly. This is great. All right. Identify a chord in a diameter. So here we get to do that. Okay, so a chord, I'm all sideways. A chord would be WZ. And then the diameter, I think we have two because they both go through the center, so WY and XZ. Perfect. So if R to T, so this whole thing, which is my diameter, equals 21, what is the length of Q to V? Actually, Q to V, it'd be 1/2 of RT, which is 21. So Q to V would be 10.5 because QV is congruent to, what do I want to say? VS and RT is congruent to VT. Okay. Congruent, 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 congruent. So here for our diameter, for X, is 22. So X to Z is going to be 11. X to Z is going to equal 11. The diameter of Y is 16. So this all the way across. So from Y to W is 8. Y to Z is 5. Find X to Y. So we could add those two together and subtract the 5. Or you could say, if this is 5, this must be 3, if this whole thing. And if this whole thing is 11, that means this part is 6. So that's 11, that's 8. Add it all together. And so X to Y. Different ways you could solve this. I'm going to say 6 plus 5 plus 3. What is 11 plus 3? X to Y equals 14 units. All right, crop circles. A series of crop circles were discovered in Alberta, Canada on September. The largest of the 3 had a radius of 30 feet. So we have a radius of 30. Find the circumference. 2 pi r. C equals 2 pi. Let's leave it as pi because we're going to talk about that. And my radius is 30. 2 times 30 is 60. Times pi would be the exact answer. It's almost like not doing the square root, just leaving it like that unless they ask you specifically to round this to 3.14. Okay. Find the diameter and the radius of a circle to the nearest hundredth if the circumference of the circle is 65.4. So I am going to use that again. So my circumference is 65.4 equals 2 pi r. Okay, I need to find my radius. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2 times pi. And my radius could either equal that, or if I wanted to, put that into my calculator. Round to the nearest hundredth, I do. So let's go ahead and do 2 times pi, 3.14, is 6.28. Okay, remember, you always have to solve either a numerator or a denominator, so simplify it before you do your dividing. So 65.4 divided by 6.28, which would give me 10.41. My diameter is 2 times that, times 2, 20.83. Hundredth. Okay. There you go. Actually, since I rounded that, this is the tricky part. Should I leave this at 82? Yes. So round to the nearest hundredth, got the answer, and then multiplied it by 2. All right, that's it for that section. Aren't you happy? I think this is the shortest lesson ever.